Так, ну шо, надо продолжать. Надо бы продолжить это дело дочитать. Я даже, наверное, чат всякий открывать не буду. Разве что ютубовский. Разве что ютубовский открою, да и все. Чтобы меня не отвлекало ничего. Вот так вот. Ну, вроде все есть. Так, по звуку все как и вчера. Ну, надо закончить. Unknown location, unknown time. From our perspective as a commander, the sound of the chorus had faded, but the pure white world stretched on infinitely. There was no more concept of inside or outside the doors, and distance became meaningless. Yeah, even time and space gradually lost meaning. Finally, among the infinite whiteness, a single figure appeared. Hello. Hatakaze Meta. Weird. Why is it so quiet here? I had to fight through violence tide the whole way over. Wait, am I sensing something invisible? Begin inspection and reveal the truth of this place to me. A figure took form for an instant, but it disappeared once more. Hatakaze Meta. Godness, such a high level. Hold it, I recognize you. Andiochus? Are you the one who calmed this place so much? I see. You're advanced in level, but you're still trapped here. Mine is too low to help you, but I do have an idea to help you. Release me and I will help you descend. It was then that another figure appeared. Marco Polo. The situation is as dire as they come, but I am helpless to act. Oh god, thy power must be mine. I know that you want to descend upon this world. I will use your power to create the kingdom of God, the beginning of a blissful, eternal age of glory for all of mankind, free of danger. We are speaking. Marco Polo? Are these her memories from before the false god's arrival? I reach out my hand and touch the what the fuck? Soliloquizing. A great start with such words, actually. What are these? Монологичный. Soliloquizing figure, but when I do, all turns to endless white again. This makes me realize that I am still in the gate. The chorus... because... By the way, how... Хор будет правильно, блин. Chorus! Oh fuck. The whole time I was very wrong. Chorus. The chorus begins anew. The chorus. I guess it will be translated. He is ready to converse. Be their voices one or many, only echoes remain in the end. Nothing interesting in this one was actually. Cathedral somewhere underground. After 5 rounds of revision, Marco Polo finally found herself satisfied. Marco Polo, not bad. Great painter indeed. Your rendition is nothing short of a beautiful. Raphael, I am glad you are happy your days. At least you didn't tell me to undo all of the revisions in the end. Anyway, now that the painting is done, what do you want to do? Marco Polo, I plan to modify the rite of the final judgment to yield new results. Not to awaken these so-called divine armies, but to herald the appearance of the one true God. Raphael, question mark. Marco Polo, what is that look in your eye? Do you think the apostle Marco Polo would fail? Marco Polo, no, I know that nobody knows God better than you, your grace. But to be honest, the God in this painting is strange. Like, really weird. Marco Polo, do you fight at any strangers than divine weapons and armies? I won't hide the truth from you. Andrea's talk of stories and cages. It's all true. I saw the script of said story with my own two eyes. If I carry out the rite as written, Paradise Lost will befall this world once more. А, привет. Я только ютубовский чат оставил, поэтому я хз, если что там на твиче был. The divine weapons will return, an apostle will hold all the power, and the world will be forever ruled by God's hands. Your God has another name, the Sirens. This very world is but another of their twisted test sites. Here they test faith, and you and everyone else born here are their Genea pigs. Cage is an apt descriptor for this world. Really, Rafaela. The world is a cage? Marco Polo, please, you must have had some inkling of it. Da Vinci realized it too, otherwise you two wouldn't use brain power to describe the so-called power of faith. To be quite honest, I happen to like that phrase. Rafaela, haha, nothing gets past you, your grace. I do generally support Andrea's idea of reforming faith and the church, but I didn't think she would be so radical, let alone that she would start a war over it. Marco Polo. She panicked when she learned of my appearance, because she thought I would mobilize the Divine Army. Yet nobody ever stopped to question whether I wanted to fight in the first place. Raphael, do you want to fight, your grace? Marco Polo, absolutely not. Hell, if she would come and talk to me, I would have joined her. Better we fight our common enemy together than squabble among ourselves. Rafaela, the apostle herself would rebel against the Holy See? Marco Polo, it's called writing the course. Rafaela, but our factions are already fighting. There is nothing we can do now, is there? Marco Polo, there is still time. We may have lost the notes of the lattice of God's light, but fortunately there has been little loss of actual life. Our army can still act. It's the perfect time for a bit of deceit. I might have failed last time, but I'm the kind of woman who knows how to learn from mistakes. God's given me a second chance, and damn it, I will do it right this time. Rafaela, did you say last time? Marco Polo, it's a long story, I'll tell you another time. Rafaela, okay, what about the whole deceit thing? What are we doing? Marco Polo, I have a plan, but the two of us can't accomplish it alone. Rafaela, then let's get Carducci and the others involved. They won't say it out loud, but I know how they feel, so don't worry. I guess it's a little bit too loud. Let's a little bit down, yeah. Marco Polo, well, what a coincidence, I was just thinking the same thing. Go back to them and tell them there was an issue with the rite. Have them come to me. And then... Yep. Wow. Rome, surrounding waters. A while later, Marco Polo and Raffaele returned after their secret talk at the ritual ground and reorganized their forces. They were going to withdraw their troops and allow Andrea's faction to capture every node of the lattice of God's light. At the same time, their whole army would converge upon Rome and make it appear as though they were conducting a massive ritual to buy themselves time out of desperation. Sure enough, Andrea Doria took notice and launched a naval attack with the brunt of her force, just as Marco Polo predicted. Andrea, we meet again, Raffaello. I'm quite surprised to see that you are leading the Ecclesia Navy. Where is your leader, Marco Polo? Raffaella, Her Grace is, well, busy, so she kinda just threw her arms up and told me to take care of the trouble here. Andrea, threw her arms up, you say? She must have put a lot of faith into this ritual of hers, no pun intended. And yet she has surrendered so many notes to buy herself some time. It frankly doesn't seem like the smartest idea, does it? Raffaella, maybe, maybe not. I'll let you enjoy this suspense. Bartolomeo, Andrea, I'm starting to think Raffaella is also stalling for time. Andrea, yes, and I have said my piece. All there is to do now is attack head-on. Raffaella, fine by me, I will be coming at you as straight as spaghetti. Da Vinci Alfredo, remember the plan. Do everything you can to hold the others back while I go and pursue Andrea. Hmm. Hmm. A whole art for this. Uh, Kaboom! Using the power granted by the lattice of God's light, Raffaello cut the distance to Andrea in the blink of an eye. Andrea meanwhile began to brandish the power of the domain of eternal night. Instantly the world was split between light and dark. Andrea, Raphael, you have walked into a trap. Stall for time if you so wish, but have you thought about why I'm not doing the same? Do you think Rome is untouchable as long as you have the lattice of God's light? Raphael, nah. The thing is, Marco Polo knows you want to take us down with you, which will result in the lattice destruction. Andrea, take you down with me? An interesting way to phrase it. If you have seen through my plan, why deploy your forces like this then? Is that ritual of yours really worth taking everything on? Raphael, I wouldn't say the ritual is that important. It's you who is the most important. The reason I'm here is to talk to you. Plain and simple. Andre, what is there to talk about after we have come this far? You're not thinking about switching sides, are you? Raphael, no. Speaking in terms of composition, we are champions of light and you are the warriors of darkness. But out of curiosity, if you wanted me to join the dark side, what kind of deal would you offer me? Andrea, how about double whatever the Ecclesia is paying you? Raphael, oh, an enticing offer. But I will have to say no thanks. Tell me the truth about the world, will you? Andrea, everything I have said is the truth. The god, the Holy See, has worshipped for all this time is a bunch of ancient machines. Robots, in essence. They made up a religion and used the Holy See to manipulate the world based on that false belief. All as the story for their experiments. Their relics, not least of all the lattice that you are using right now, pose a disastrous threat to the world. The relics exist for one purpose, to turn us all into puppets who dance at their command in the name of faith. Do you even know what the ending is to the story that they have come up with? Even if you beat us into submission and do exactly what they want you to, all that awaits you in the end is death and devastation. It's called a reset, and it wipes out both their most loyal followers and their most staunch opponents. Raphael, I think I have basically conformed to the status quo. What these two words actually? But that doesn't mean I really believed in God. That's why I approve of the revolution you have been working toward. I just didn't expect that you would do it by dragging your allies into an all-out war. Andrea, I'm trying to keep casualties on both sides to a minimum. You already know that, don't you? Rafaela, minimum doesn't mean none. Besides, think about it, you didn't go to war because of the threat of the right of the final judgment. You did it because the lattice was going to be activated. Sure, it will lead to the world's downfall one day, if left unchecked. But you don't know whether that one day will be tomorrow or 1,000 years from now. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that what you're doing here is wrong. But if you know the sirens are manipulating us all, have you not considered that this war may be just another part of their story? You jumped the gun a little bit, and well, here we are. Andrea, I was out of time. A shipgirl apostle had been born, and the Holy See had the key to activate those divine weapons. I know what's resting inside of the ninth armory of God. Other places like it exist across the Ecclesia, and only the apostle. And only and I mean only. The Apostle can control the divine army once awakened. With that kind of power, nobody would be able to challenge the Holy See, and as the executioners of God's experiments, they would put unbreakable shackles on all of us. But that hasn't happened yet. The cage hasn't been locked shut just yet. That was why I had to act. This was my one and only hope. Raphael, okay, so you're mostly on the right track, but you're forgetting about one crucial thing. Andrea, one crucial thing? Raphael, yeah, what if, seriously, what if Marco Polo already knew all of this? And what if she not only knew more than you, but she was trying to do the same thing as you, to destroy the cage around us? Andrea, question mark? It's, Raphael, it's like I said earlier, I just came here to talk to you. I will be real with you, Marco Polo has come up with an unbelievable plan to fix everything. We'll both get what we want if you help her with it. Interested? Then hear me out for a bit. Sometime earlier, at the right of the Final Judgment's ritual grounds, Marco Polo gathered her aides under the pretense of a problem with the rite, then proceeded to tell them the same thing as she told Raphael just earlier. As Raphael anticipated, they readily offered to cooperate with her. It was then that Marco Polo began to detail her plan. Marco Polo, let me make this clear. I know what I'm doing, and you are all to follow my instructions. Our forces have already been concentrated in Rome. Andrea is similarly amazing her own forces. What God expects to happen next is an all-out war between the two of us. However, I will not be playing into his hand. We are going to broach discussions with Andrea in secret. We give the impression that we are fighting, while actually working together. Then, under God's watch, we will focus our forces in one place in a way he will never see coming. Then, the plan beginning in earnest, we will activate the divine army and use our might to destroy each and every one of God's weapons. Both sides will join forces, and after our armies have arrived, we will modify the rite and make it so God's weapon can no longer be strengthened by the power of faith. And not just that, we will issue self-destruct orders, switch off defense systems, and give contradicting orders, anything we can to put them in utter disarray. When the divine army is at its weakest, we will all march on Rome and wipe it out. Once that cursed army is completely annihilated, the world will be free from its cage. I will remain as apostle, and the ecclesia armies will follow the Holy See's commands, my commands in other words. And we will all live happily ever after. The end. Oh, and don't worry, the army won't question my orders. They will believe me if I say they came to me in a revelation in this place. Raffaella, wow. They will buy it just like that? Carducci, this is certainly an unexpected plan. Baraka, sounds risky, just the way I like it. Marco Polo, right? Now for the concrete details of this plan. Black screen, thank you. Raffaello explained Marco Polo's plan from start to finish, and Andrea was dumbfounded from sheer surprise. Raffaello, so yeah, that's more or less the idea. Andrea, Marco Polo sure is a woman of unconventional brilliance. I hate to admit it, but it's a very appealing plan. I still cannot trust her though. You must understand, at the end of the day, she serves God. She is the chosen one who was born in the shipyard of God. Raffaella, so you want proof of her rebellion, huh? Don't worry, as we speak, she is taking faith in God and turning it into faith in her. Once that's done, you will know exactly where she stands. Andrea, faith in her? How in the world will she do that? Raphael, the power to come up with things in the heart of each and every one of us. Anyway, let's separate a bit and keep up the appearance that we are in a standoff. Then just sit back and watch as her masterful plan unfolds. Andrea, alright, from there I will determine her true worth. Какие артики. Unknown location, unknown time. There, amidst the complete whiteness extending endlessly in all directions, I arrive before it. Hello. We are speaking as a commander. You are the one who has been showing me those things, aren't you? The creature doesn't respond. I will call it like this. Of course, it's Hierophant, but still. No response. Hierophant, okay, it just just admitting that this is Hierophant. Hierophant just stands there in the distance, silent like an incomplete statue. By the way, how will be Hierophant spelled correctly? Because yeah. Because I probably most likely misspelled.
Hierophant.
Hierophant. Okay, pretty much the same. Hierophant. Just stands there in the distance, silent like an incomplete statue. I have seen everything you showed. Am I right to assume that you're stuck in this place? And you have been wanting to escape? It's why you team up with the Meta Hatakaze and try to create a kingdom of God for Marco Polo. You might not harbor any ill will, but most of your actions have had consequences beyond your expectations, beyond your control even. Hierophant is silent. Although the statue still does not say a word, for a moment it looks like there is a glimmer in its gemstone-like eyes. I'm sure what's happening to Marco Polo now also has something to do with you. What have you done to her? The cold whiteness starts to shiver, like a rising tide is pressing in all sides. The very next moment, the soundless waves come flooding in. Everything except the waves rapidly dissolves like ice, eventually leaving nothing but a void. Then, from the gaps between the snow-white waves, Marco Polo's figure comes into view. Marco Polo, oh God, I give you all my faith. Oh, I like this song. The chorus. Translate, please. I am with you and you. It didn't translate it. I am. It's not. I need to do it myself then. Тихо. I didn't mean to open this one. It didn't translate. Okay, then myself. Oh God, I give you all. Смысл? It's translating before. Oh God, I will go on my face. Okay. Yeah, I'm with you. Okay. Again, the chorus. Chorus. How I translated it? Okay. Chorus rings out, and a figure becomes visible. A figure becomes visible. Marco Polo, please grant me the strength to repeal the sirens once more. The chorus. It's just translating. Please give me the... Grant me the power... Yeah, okay. It's translating, okay. With one more utterance, I don't know. From the chorus, a colossal weapon known as a geyser reveals itself. Then another white wave washes in, replacing everything with a blank nothingness. The music changed again. The endless expanse of white regains its calm and the statue is still silent. Even so, in the jewels of its eyes, I can... Just excellent oppress. White again. Even so, in the jewels of its eyes, I can clearly make out Marco Polo's figure. It seems that she and Hierophant have forged a deep bond. Having seen all these things, I have a plethora. I have a lot of questions. Why you need to use such words, like really, plethora.
Plethora.
Plethora. I have a plethora of questions to ask, but I don't even know where to start. She's using your power to fight the sirens. How do you feel about that? The statue says nothing in response. So, we continue. Rome, surrounding waters. Marco Polo's ritual of faith conversion had clear and immediate effects. The power of faith... Да что за слова? Хайд Херто! Что... Хайд Херто. До сих пор.
Hitherto.
Что?
Hitherto.
Hitherto? До сих пор. Until we have word until. Hitherto. A power of faith hitherto unknown to this world surged from force from Rome, transmitting along the lattice of God's light. A familiar yet strangely foreign air condensed in the skies of the Apennine archipelago, signaling to the world the birth of a new being. Raphael, looks like her ritual complete. See, no divine army to be seen and you're still alive. Most telling of all is the surge of brain power. It does not lie. So, do you believe me now? Andrea, Marco Polo, you're piquing my curiosity more by the minute. She actually altered the ritual god left behind, and she used it to create a new type of face? Raphael, I don't know all the nitty-gritty, but it sure looks like that way. She said the face is now for a real god, one who can help us take down anyone or anything that's out for us. Andrea, it looks extremely suspicious. Raphael, yeah, I'm the one who had to draw it up, so I would know. Raphael, still, she is the apostle, so if anyone knows how to use face for good, it's her. Andrea, are you saying you believe in that god? Raphael, I wouldn't say I believe in it, but I don't disbelieve in it either. Oh, I got a message from Marco Polo. She says she wants to talk to you. Andrea, very well. Thus Marco Polo and Andrea initiated a conversation over the phone. Since Andrea was up to speed, the conversation went extremely smoothly. Both sides laid out and agreed to a truce. Then they swiftly began to formulate their next plan. But just as everything was going swimmingly... Communicator, beep beep. Cesare Meta. Andrea, the Divine Army launched an attack on us out of nowhere. Andrea, what? The Divine Army? Cesare, yes, they are attacking Venice, Genoa and Milan all at the same time. We must mount a response post-haste. Andrea, but why? Why are they attacking? Raphael, huh? Don't look at me, I have no idea. Marco Polo, come again, the Divine Army is staging an attack? I can tell you right now, I have eyes on the Ninth Armory of God and nothing has happened there. In other words, I have nothing to do with this. Andrea, okay, so it wasn't you then. Then the attackers must have been divine armies that lay dormant across the league, once so well hidden even we weren't aware of them. I suspect that God sensed a threat and forcibly commenced the right of the final judgment. Marco Polo, if he thinks he can try, let him. The power I command now should strike fear in the heart of even God. Marco Polo, you know what? I am going to stop calling this wretches God. I don't want any confusion between them and my God. Let's just agree to call them sirens, alright? Andrea, sirens? Okay, and what does God mean to you then? Marco Polo, God simply. What else? I am renaming them sirens now to avoid confusion. So if you want me to redefine God, that defeats the whole point. They decide we can't put the Divine Army Genie army gin back in the bottle now, but the siren weapon in and around Rome are still under our control. Curse those sirens and their shims. I thought I'd caught them unawares. Instead, they strike just as we joined forces and were about to hit them where it hurts. This isn't what was supposed to happen. Andrea, they built this cage over 1,000 years. Of course escaping it won't be easy. We still have a chance, though. Before anything else, we should group up and relocate our headquarters. There is no better time than now to knock out the sirens surrounding Rome. Marco Polo, my thoughts exactly. Let's deal with what's on the table first. Gate 7. A lot of question marks. The statue in the endless white expanse is as silent as ever, but the sight reflected in its eyes are changing every moment. Really, in English, is really lacking the commas. Like, серьезно, запятых капец не хватает. We are speaking. Is that Marco Polo? Are these more memories? No, not quite. It feels like it's happening in the present. Like it's unfolding right now. They were performing some strange ritual, then redeploying their forces. So while her body is sound asleep, her mind is off on this unbelievable escapades? I don't know. I'm tired of this.
Escapades.
Escapades. Причем это с армянского. Прикол. Unbelievable escapades? There is nothing but silence from the statue. Well, from what I can tell, you're trapped somewhere for some reason. What I'm seeing here is just a projection that I can recognize. You can probably see me to some extent, just as I can see you. But who knows how much information is being relayed to you? Am I supposed to make a clear and definite wish to you, if I want you to answer any of my questions? Marco Polo did that once, so there is nothing but silence from the statue. I will give it a try. Okay, it can't hurt, right? Hierophant, please show me any information pertaining to Marco Polo's location. I make a wish to the statue. Not long after, another door appears. I reach out to touch it, and everything changed abruptly. I forgot how to do correctly already. Record 000003. Observer. Deployment of experiment mechanism proceeding smoothly. Installation of mainframe proceeding normally. A core experiment generation and applications of conceptualization has been established. Commencing intervention of belief system. Record 04001017. Observer. Formulations of belief system has been completed, moving to a second phase of ideological guidance. Detecting effects of conceptualization generation mechanism is a point of uncertainty. Initiating introduction of meteorite sample to test site. Wisdom cube. Experiments postponed until further notice. Launch will commence following start of third phase of ideological guidance. Record 0476010111. Observer. Basic replications of conceptual effects has been successful. Generation mechanism remains uncertain. Preparing to initiate third phase of ideological guidance. Implementing introduction of wisdom cubes to test site. Task allotments of tester, purifier and compiler systems complete. Mission code name Paradiso Lost. Record 0477033014. Observe a stable replication of conceptual effect has been successful. Generation mechanism continued to elude understanding. Instability of mind due to singular ideology has been detected. Stable amplifications of conceptual effect due to a meteorite sample has been detected. Observation verifies that under specific circumstances, the amplified conceptual effect provided by the meteorite sample can affect the structure of wisdom cubes, initiating introduction of origin cubes to test site. Preparing to initiate fourth phase of ideological guidance. Record 0479120117. Observer. Observation verifies that thoughts stemming from phase can present two polarizing properties. Initiating amplification experiment. Record 0479120024. Observation verifies that pure samples can amplify the assimilation property of the meteorite sample in the form of thought transmission. Initiating amplification experiment. Record 0479120078. How long it will be? Observation verifies that pure samples can amplify the corrosion property of origin cubes in the form of thought transmission. Initiating amplification experiment. Record 047912001044. Observation verifies the existence of a neutralization phenomenon between polar opposite samples. Initiating amplification experiment. Record 04791210 176454. That's a lot of... Warning, rate of control loss in pure samples has reached 30%. Record... This game is killing me. Record 04791210 333762. Warning, rate of control loss in pure samples has reached 50%. Record 04791210778690. Observer. Warning, rate of control loss in pure samples has reached 70%. Devising plans to shut down conceptual neutralization experiment laboratory. Record 04791211145876. Warning, rate of control loss in pure samples has reached 90%. Devising plans to shut down conceptual and meta bidirectional interference experiment laboratory. Record 04791211670865. Preparing to initiate local purification program. Так, я заебал. Record a lot of numbers. Like, it's out of control. Emergency orders received. Halting local purification program. Initiating control transfer of test site ES 13 16 18 7.728, 55.597, 17.334, minus 62 16 71 44 220. Recipient Arbiter System Arbiter the Hierophant 5. As it has this whole time, the statue maintains its silence. While some of my questions were answered, this also created a whole slew of new ones. We are speaking. Test site yes 131 618. The one you took charge of, Hierophant. Are you able to oversee it even in the state you are in now? Did you bring Marco Polo there in order to get help from her or something? If so, did you bring me here for the same reason? Because you need my help? Silence. The statue offers no answers and my voice echoes hollowly in the horizonless stretch of white nothingness. Что такое? А, что я у тебя на фоне, окей. Так, из того, что я понял, из вот этого текста всего, это так объясняю и для себя, чтобы понять, и так чисто. But in which language I should describe it? In English and in Russian? I don't know, I am reading in English, so let's continue in English. So, as I understand, this world we are right now, it's the world which Hierophant is was observing or was in command for, and as always, Observer was looking for Я, кстати, да, тебе не ответил. Тут не менее мрачное. Опять-таки, вот скажу честно, ни я не могу судить по Аркнайту, ни ты не можешь судить по Азурке. Потому что ты не читал сюжетку Азурки. И я не читал сюжетку Аркнайт. Но поверь, тут в Азурке достаточно хватает трэша. Если честно. Вот. Особенно предпоследнюю, которую ты не читал, которая все лето была. Вот, начиная с июля, и она закончилась аж в сентябре, эта сюжетка. Вот. То там было достаточно жестко, по сути дела. Но я ее тебе пересказывать сейчас не буду, потому что это другим занят. Ну вот. Так что, такое дело, знаешь. Вот. Ты попросту, ты реально, ты не читал. Ебать, я красный, на самом деле, по микрофону. Вот именно. Поэтому я могу тебе поверить, а ты можешь поверить мне. То есть в Азурке достаточно тоже бывает жесть. Если так вспомнить, у нас половина кораблей, ну не половина, но некая часть кораблей попросту валялась, до сих пор еще некоторые валяются чисто под жизненным аппаратом, потому что они мертвы, блин, и им жопа. Нужно, и их только поддерживают аппаратуры, иначе им капец. Вот, это часть какая-то кораблей, и мы понемногу там как-то их вылечиваем из-за этого, из-за коррозии и прочего. Тут, в принципе, существует метаморфозис, коррозия, которая, как бы, если что, превращает корабль попросту в безмозглую машину для убийства и теряется полностью разум и прочее. Это чисто смерть корабля тоже. Тут хватает всякой дичи. Вот. И я же говорю, вот эта сюжетка летом, там, в принципе, был задействован весь мир. И попросту, если бы там, естественно, мы не мешали, то там жопа была по всему, как обычно. Вот. И да. Короче. Это надо читать и понимать. Я вот так сходу... Проблема в том, что вот так сходу врезаться в Азурку мне было сложно. Потому что я пришел буквально в прошлом году. Ну, уже год прошел, как я играю в Азурку, 1,5 года. Вот. Я сам пришел и врезался, скажем так, из ничего сразу в карьер. Вот. Но, в принципе, я понемногу понял всю суть. Это надо понимать, сидеть, читать и понимать. Ладно, короче. По факту. И если я правильно понял, в этом мире, в котором сейчас Марко Поло, это мир, за которым была законтролен Хierophant. Вот. И что-то там пошло не так. Обзервер наблюдала за куском метеорита, что везде, в каждой тест-сайте вроде бы присутствует. С этим метеоритом тоже непонятно. Он и у нас присутствовал, и в других кусочках присутствовал. Я таки не сильно понимаю, насколько это важная вещь, но важная. Вот. По анализу пошло что-то не так, и она все данные, какие были, отправила Хиерофанту или что? Вот, я таки не понял. Ну ладно, надеюсь, может объяснят еще. Дальше идем. То есть заговорился уже много. Sardegnia Ecclesia Capital. Sardegnia League Joint Operation Headquarters. Carducci, thanks to your orders, your grace, the Siren's army is in complete chaos. The Ecclesia's efforts to exterminate them is proceeding extremely smoothly. Marco Polo, of course it is. Now, any news on Andrea? Has she managed to relocate her command center? Carducci, yes, that is done. As you have ordered, she has also been lent Florence sources of God's light in order to maintain the domain of eternal night. It's going very well on her end, thanks to the many strings they pulled to gain in the upper hand in the war. Marco Polo, that worked to our benefit as well, so it's fine. And since we are on the same page, any advantages she can spare for us will make our job easier. How are things on the other fronts? Carducci, the Siren's armies are conducting a fierce attack. 3 of them have breached nearby state's territory and are heading for Rome. Marco Polo, Well, they are clearly after me. How magnificent if they are split in three, that makes it easier to pick off one at a time. Now, the lattice of God's light has many nodes, so how does the network connecting these nodes function? I believe it was called the microlayer transference system. At least that's what I got out of Veneto back then. Oh, I have got it. We'll use the transference system to strike where the enemy least expected. Raffaella, micro what now? What did you say? Marco Polo, the portal-like thing that lets you quickly move to where a node is located. Raffaella, Joseph, does the lattice have a function like that? Gioshi Carducci, if it does, I have certainly never heard of it before. Marco Polo, what? You haven't? I'm red as fuck. I may be shouting really too much. Let me I know it's like a tense moment here, but let me check the stream. Am I shouting too loud? Like really? Because if yes, it's like if I'm really shouting, like I need to lower my volume. Открой мою трансляцию, ёб твою мать, YouTube. Не хочу Twitch открывать, честно. Сейчас проверю на YouTube. I need to lower my volume. How does the network connecting these nodes function? I believe it was called the microlayer. Raffaella, micro what now? What did you say? Gioshi Carducci. If it does, I have certainly never heard of it before. Marco Polo, what? You haven't? I'm red as fuck. I may be shouting. It's not really loud, but red, it's like I will lower like 1 decibel maybe. 1.5 decibel. Okay, 2 decibel. I lower myself like 2 decibels because I don't want to be red. Yellow it's okay, but red I guess it's a little bit too much. Okay, I need to close the stream right now. Okay. Let's continue. What? You haven't? It's a black screen. very. Meanwhile, in the boundless land of white, we have no words. Through the eyes of the stone statue, I have grasped what's happening in Marco Polo's world. We are speaking. During the near superimposition event, Clemenceau took Compiler's microlayer transference system and modified it. It wasn't part of her original plan. But wait, when Richelieu had the system activated, Marco Polo had already been thrown into the sea. How and when did Marco Polo learn about it from Veneto? Schosmark. She never even told me about it. Maybe it was when Shinano brought Veneto into Marco Polo's dream? She really knows how to exploit every opportunity she gets. And the way she manifested a weapon with the power of thought, just like at the World Expo. Then there are those airships. Da Vinci made good use of those ones. At any rate, let's see what Marco Polo's next move is. А командир чисто вот наблюдать со стороны. Inside a desolate world, overrun with thorns, religious thoughts collided with one another in the air. Marco Polo, what's this? I was in the headquarters a moment ago. Where am I? Eagles and a fleet of airships? Hold on a moment. Is this a memory from the opening ceremony of the World Expo? Ah, I see now. This must be a revelation from God. Yes, indeed, the power of faith passes through the lattice of God's light and accumulates here. An airship fleet. I like the sound of that. But if we are going to use the imagery of Rome, it's best to do so in Florence. I will have Da Vinci handle that. Now, if one were to try to materialize concept relating to God, 4 horses in the colors white, red, black and green crossed Marco Polo's mind. I have to admit that woman has decent taste. Mechanicus Harbingers, you will be my pick. Gate after the gate. Oh, even something unloading. Cathedral somewhere underground. With the power of conception in her hand, Marco Polo materialized the Mechanicus Harbingers, familiar sights from both the World Expo and the Kerguelen Islands. At the same time, she ordered Raffaella to travel to Florence and manifest a fleet of airships. Marco Polo, it's a start, but it's not enough. If I can use the sources of God's light to replicate God's kingdom and bring him to us, then maybe. Meanwhile, in the boundless land of white, we are speaking, huh? What the hell is this? Marco Polo suddenly issued a series of orders that were identical to what I came up with just a moment ago. I'm going to assume she didn't develop and master telepathy all of a sudden. Then that leaves just one option. Hierophant, are you relaying my thoughts to her? That's why she began manifesting all those weapons and got ready for you to descend to Earth, right? Was this your goal all along? Was it all to replicate the conditions of the near superimposition event in a new test site, so she could herald your arrival? There is nothing but silence from the statue. No, if that was your goal, there would have been no need to involve me. Then you must have some other motive. Whatever that may be, I know one thing for sure. That ritual is far too dangerous. Even with the limitations of a mirror sea during your first attempt, the superimposition almost came to be. There would have been no turning back then. How are you going to finish it this time? Tell me, Hierophant. I want to know your plans. I asked the statue for answers. Not long after, another door appears. I reached out to touch it and everything changed abruptly. Record 04800500117. Ooh. Arbiter Chariot 7. We have never seen the Arbiter Chariot, as I remember. Это кто? Chariot. Колесница. Ага. От седьмой от карт Таро колесница. Arbiter the Chariot. I wish you would have delayed the shutdown just a little, Lady Hierophant. The protocol would have wiped Sardegni Island completely clean by now. Now I must go to great lengths to hide it for you. I am aware that you know nothing about this task, that's why I restored the meta research facilities for you. Is there anything else I can do? I only asked out of politeness. You weren't supposed to actually ask for more help. I have to repair all of it! Are you pulling my leg? You can't do it by yourself. I knew you were inept, but not to this extent. Have you no pride as a self-improving AI weapon? You are so lucky that I promised I would assist. If you have trouble in the future, save it for devil. I am done working with you. I can understand the ruins of God, same with the armories of God, but what in the world is the shipyard of God and garden of God? You know what? Forget I asked. This is what I get for having an interest in someone's experiments. The wisdom cubes will be distributed as gifts from God, as you asked. Let's hope the final result of your experiment will be interesting. Интересно. As it has this whole time, the statue maintains its silence. We are thinking. I feel like I just got a glimpse of a side of Hierophant that few ever get. Chariot, huh? Another arbiter whose image I should commit to memory. Exactly, because we have never seen her. Another door appears. A record, oh, we already have a 1 in the record 14531224472. Andrea Doria. Обычный, oh, simple one, not meta. The sky and sea change so dramatically once you pierce the veil. The rumors were true, Cesare. Sardinia Island wasn't obliterated, it was just hidden by God. What a hideous sight. It's as though a war took place here. Gulisho Cesare, normal one, not meta. Andrea, I have sighted a cluster of remarkably intact buildings. There is some writing that I can't read. Mind taking a look? Andrea, sure, let me see. It says Conceptual and Meta Bidirectional Interference Experiment Laboratory. Cesare, a laboratory? In this place? Andrea, hey, is it just me or have you also not been able to sense the power of faith since we came in here? It should be able to be felt from anywhere. Cesare, yes, now that you mention it. Andrea, there must be earth-shaking secrets lying in this hidden battleground. We have to scour this place thoroughly. As it has this whole time, the statue maintained its silence. We are speaking. That's why test site ES 131-61 is home to so many metas. То есть большинство мет пошли именно от этого, потому что Херофан там устроила лабораторию по метаморфозису. Допустим. They took advantage of the Siren's abandoned facilities and willingly underwent metamorphosis. Ага. То есть, поэтому они не посходили с ума, получается. Потому что они по желанию в лаборатории это сделали, нежели на поле битвы. So there exists technology that can induce controlled metamorphosis, assuming it really can be controlled, that is. Вот именно. So it can be controlled, not by rage or something like this. Another door appears. How many doors are here? Record, again with 0, not the first one. Record 04800092451. Arbiter the Chariot. Restructuring of the security system is complete. I have also created 255 sub-options to meet the various needs of your experiments. Why exactly 255? It's like, if I remember correctly, it's some kind of limit to some kind of system. Короче, 255 это вроде бы какой-то лимит какой-то системы исчисления. The buttons for option 1 through 255 are all here. Don't touch anything besides this. Also, refrain from touching buttons 251 through 255. They initiate emergency backup plans I set up for you. Finally, I have positioned one of my own mecha arbiters here. Don't say anything about it not being enough. One mecha arbiters can endure more punishments than a combined fleet can dish out in over 1,000 years. I'm going to be busy for a few days now while I write a manual for you. When that's done, I'm not coming back here ever again. While I would love to see the experiments results, I'm not going to sit around for centuries waiting for them. Let me know when the results are in. As it has this whole time, the statue maintains its silence. I wait for a minute or two, but no other door appears. What I gathered from that is that Chariot constructed the defense system of test site ES 131-680, and only you can control it. But since you are in your current state, the defense system is working automatically. The fiercest part of the system is a Mecha Arbiter, and apparently it would be impossible to take down even if the whole test site worked together. Therefore, the one and only way they could survive was if you use Marco Polo to bring you down to Earth, right? Did you nudge her in the direction of the Sardegna Island Mirror Sea in order to minimize potential collateral damage caused by the ritual? Seeing as it's under the control of Andrea's side, they should be able to keep collateral fairly low. Now I understand everything that's happened so far. Marco Polo and that world face a potential apocalypse. I am not sure how well Marco Polo will be able to control the collateral of the ritual either. You still have yet to tell me, what exactly do you want my help with? Is there anything that isn't going exactly how you planned it? Silence. The statue offers no answers and my voice echoes hollowly in the horizonless stretch of white nothingness. Окей, next. Такой вопрос. Тут есть тоже... Что ты имеешь в виду под... Есть геноцид... Теперь ты еще ошибку сделал. Это геноцид расы или что? Почему две? Если что, я буду отвечать на твои сообщения и прочее между вот этими вот панельками сюжета. Когда я внутри нее, я стараюсь не отвлекаться. Что ты имеешь в виду под... Геноцидная раса или что? Типа... И что это имеет вообще значение? Ты пока пиши и объясни, а я попробую. Sardegna Ecclesia, capital. Cathedral somewhere underground. After witnessing the same series of visions as the commander did, Marco Polo fell into deep thought. She has the same visions as me. Oh. Marco Polo, if those visions are true, that means Sardegna Island was not destroyed by Paradise Lost, merely concealed by Mirror Sea. Andrea has long known the secret, and she captured the island and that Meta research laboratory in secret. The cornerstone of this branch security system is a massive mech, known as Mecha Arbiter the Chariot. Oh, so did God just give me a divine revelation to use the light of heaven to get rid of that steel beast? She went through the bits of information in her head, then reached a conclusion. The revelation is clear. That being the case, I should stick to the plan. Said plan being divided into two steps, luring out the enemy, then annihilating it. The latter isn't that much of a problem, however powerful it is. It should be fine as long as I can fully materialize the kingdom of God and throw an army of gazers at it. So, luring it out will be the tricky part. The Mecha Arbiters hasn't as much as shown a glimpse of itself yet. The Sirens are still preserving their forces. I need to make them escalate. We could use my Kingdom of God riddle as bait, but setting it up will take time. And forget about catching them by surprise if we are too conspicuous. What else is there? Ah, right, Rafaela is good at this thing. I'll ask her. Communicator, vivid. Rafaela, a way to make the Sirens escalate. How about making it look like we are gonna blow Rome to bits? Like, what if we took that mutual destruction plan Andrea had and turned it up to 11? The Sirens want you and the Metas to be at each other's throats, right? It's their goal. Messings? I don't know. So what if it seems like the Metas were about to destroy the capital before that goal was achieved? Marco Polo, a magnificent idea! That's ideal for Andrea to transfer the core node of the domain of the Eternal Night to Sargadena Island. Not only will it draw out the enemy, but also it will make them turn turn their sights. I don't know if it's a typo, but like them turn their sights to that island. A textbook example of baiting the enemy. Andrea at wants to know. No, focus on manifesting the Mechanicus Harbingers. I will personally go and speak to Andrea. Once the Mecha Arbiter is defeated, all that will remain are disordered small fry. What an ingenious plan. Another gate. 11 gate. How much gates we are? Fuck, it's so much to... By the way, not so much. Unknown location, unknown time. I watched through the statue's eyes as Marco Polo traveled to Sardinia Island in a great hurry. We are speaking. So that's what you were planning. Judging by her Judging by her reaction, though, she didn't see records as they were. Rather, you showed her doctored visions, didn't you? Doctorate, что значит типа не, ну, документированный, типа, doctorate. Doctored. Visions, didn't you? While the statue remained silent, I feel like it's silently confirming my suspicions. If Marco Polo had seen the same things as I, she wouldn't have reacted to Hierophant. Let me guess, you aren't presenting yourselves to her as God on purpose, but the time to clear up that misunderstanding has passed, and now you're simply going along with it, right? Let me guess, you aren't presenting yourself to her as God on purpose. I understand, okay. That amusing possibility crossed my mind. Hierophant remained silent. Somehow I get the feeling that the statue averted its gaze for but a moment. We are speaking. Can Marco Polo really deal with the Mecha Arbiter with the information you have given her? Chariot said something about her Mecha Arbiter having the strength to rival the entire test site all at once, didn't she? Hierophant is still not responding. Although a statue cannot express emotions, it feels like it just looked away anxiously. We are speaking. I'm starting to figure out why you dragged me into this. Marco Polo and her subjects wield the collective power of the mind, while Andrea and her supporters have the corrosive might of metamorphosis on their side. Bring the other down with them. Neutralization phenomenon between polar opposites. The power you gave them will be the key to victory against army in this world. In the branch I come from, we did something similar for dealing with the protective barrier of tester, purifier and emitter. Tell me, Hierophant, does the Mecha Arbiter have an adaptive barrier of its own? Another door appeared. Just as stones thrown away, another door appears. I reach out to touch it and everything changed abruptly. Arbiter the Chariot. Yes. Just as that, yeah? Just the answer, yes. I am then returned to the white expanse again. Only... what was... What? Come again? Only silence from the statue answered me. Once the barrier adapts too much in one direction, it becomes hard for it to pivot in another direction. That property can be exploited. It's like heating steel to high temperatures and rapidly cooling it to make it brittle. You just have to quench the barrier. When the Mecha Arbiter appears, Andrea's group will begin by attacking the barrier with the power of Domain of Eternal Night. They will be the figurative fire that hits the steel. Meanwhile, the Sardinia League will raise the banner of the Eternal Night over as many nodes as possible, amplifying the strength of meta corrosion. Marco Polo will set up the ritual of Sardinia Island, halt it at the last moment before the Kingdom of God materialize, then wait for the right time. That's when they will spring their bait plan into action, drawing out as much of the Mecha Arbiter's power as possible, while luring it inside the center of where the Kingdom of God will appear. If all goes well, the barrier will be firing on all pistons to counter against meta corrosion. That will be the opportune time to annihilate it. Marco Polo finishes the ritual, locks the enemy in place, and unleashes all conceptual power at once to deal a devastating blow. This plan is their best shot at victory. Hierophant, relay this plan to her. At the same time, inside the Sardinia League's new joint headquarters on Sardinia Island, Andrea was having familiar apprehensions. Andrea Meta. So, the killing blow part of this plan isn't a bit crude? What if, for example, all of our combined strength still isn't enough to beat God's weapon? I know there is very little intel on our enemy, but we should be prepared for the worst case scenario. Marco Polo, yes, I understand your concern. Just hold on. I will ask for a revelation. Trento, ask for one? Do revelations really come simply when you ask for them? Cesare Meta. Huh, interesting. Ignoring the doubtful looks around her, Marco Polo closed her eyes, opening them again just a short while later. Marco Polo, I've got it! And Andrea, that was quick. Did your god tell you anything? Marco Polo, God had spoken. We shall quench it. We'll exploit a property of the Siren's barrier and pummel it with attacks of two opposing natures within a short span. This will allow us to break through the limits of its defense. Andrea, what? Is that the revelation you received? Marco Polo, well, yes. The figure is in my vision said so. Are you doubting me? Andrea, this god of yours sure is something else. Marco Polo, right, I couldn't agree more. Marco Polo, now that we have a plan, we just have to iron out of the details. Sardinia Island defensive line. Once the plan was set in stone, the ship girls all sprung into action. In the truest sense, the Sardinia League had united as one for the first time ever. They had become something worthy of the title of League. HQ issued orders one after the next while the shipgirls intercepted the three separate fleets of Sirens. What's more, the core node hosting the domain of Eternal Night on the island was very clearly signaling an intention to destroy Rome. This borderline provocation naturally drew the attention and fire of the Sirens' defense system. Oh, the three Sirens' fleet were dead in their tracks, but then a fourth one suddenly emerged right in the middle of the sea. A figure matching the description of the Mecha Arbiter was clearly visible in the midst. Carducci, according to her grace, several fleets of so-called mass-produced ships and enforcers have appeared. The Genoan Republics and the Dukedom of Milan's fleet are keeping the first Siren fleet in check, while the Republic of Venice and the Sardinia fleets are tackling the second one. As for the third fleet, the Kingdom of Sicilia fleet is implementing its plan to bring them to a halt. Each of our fleets is doing its utmost to stop the enemy's advance and isolate the fourth fleet of Sirens. While they do that, our forces will be the key to destroy the Mecha Arbiter's fleet. The enemy in question is on straight course towards the Sardinia Island. We will be within its range in approximately 30 minutes. The Republic of Florence will take care of its mass-produced ships. The enforcers will be dealt by our mixed fleet that hasn't yet participated in battle. As part of our quenching tactics, we cannot expect assistance in the form of the Mechanicus Harbingers or the strength amplifier in the Lexus of God's Light. The only assistance we can expect is aerial support from Da Vinci's and Alfredo Fleet's airships. Finally, Her Grace is performing the ritual and setting up the bait and the extermination parts of our plan. Which means that you are the only ones who can handle the Mecharbiter. Balzano Meta. I am Knight of the Sardinia League and I will perform my duty no matter what. Andrea Doria. It's us against God's most powerful weapon. I pictured countless ways that this war could end. I would not in 1,000 years have guessed this is how it would end. Trenta Meta. Every state in the league coming together in unity in pursuit of victory. It's a wonderful thing to see. Andrea agreed. It's the best thing I could have ever hoped for. Cesare Meta. Only if we win will it be so, Andrea. Yes, it's true. Our final opponent stands before us. So does the hope we have fostered for so long. We'll break free of our cage, whatever the cost may be. Kaboom! Bartolomeo Colenia. Andrea, I am presently engaging the enforcers. Their strength is so far beyond expectations that a quick fight is out of the question. I will do all I can to hold them back. Andrea, understood. Alfredo Riani. Things are going super well for our airship fleet. Quick, luckily. Doesn't look like the enemy is equipped to deal with the aerial attacks, so we are already reduced their mass-produced fleet to scraps. Leonardo da Vinci. Heck! We kinda have forces to spare, so how about we send some your way? Andrea, no, let's stick to the plan. You're the boss. Kaboom! Trentomet. Andrea, our attacks aren't getting through. In fact, the domain of Eternal Night isn't having any observation effects on them. Andrea, then we don't have enough output. Carducci, we have to capture every node as soon as possible. Carducci, we are engaged on all fronts, but I will try to hurry things along. Cesare Meta. Is it time to employ our backup plan? Andrea, not yet. Launch one more offensive. Kaboom, Sardinia Island, Andrea's defensive line. Balzano Meta. As Trenta said, our attacks really aren't effective. If nothing changes soon, they will be threatening the core node within an hour. Carducci. Andrea, Her Grace just informed me that the ritual has been set up. The enemy is already within strike range, so the Kingdom of God can be deployed at any time. Andrea, it's too soon! Too many nodes aren't connected yet, the domain hasn't even reached half of its predicted output. We need more to put sufficient pressure on the enemy. Keep capturing nodes and raising the banner of Eternal Night. Meanwhile, I suppose it's time to carry out the backup plan. Overclock the laboratory system and push the meta corrosion up to a new threshold. Carducci, are you sure that's a good idea? Andrea, I'm sure. We have always been ready for this, if it's what it takes to break free of our cage. It's nothing too serious, it will just give us more strength at the cost of our health. Carducci, that's definitely not all it does, based on Her Grace's reactions to your plan. Cesare, I always have wanted to break past that meaningless safety protocol. I am on it. Andrea, Carducci, don't flip the extermination switch just yet. Stick to the plan and focus on expanding the domain. We only have one shot at this, so remember. No matter how hard the fighting gets, don't relent until you have given the signal. Kaboom! Sardinia Island, Andrea defensive line. Mech Arbiter the chariot shrouded in the thick fog, the huge machine was firing in all directions, not a single blind spot out of range of its cannons. Carducci, Andrea, 90% of all the nodes have been captured now. Andrea, then we should be good. Overclock the systems and encase the enemy completely in the domain of eternal night. The fog thickened, and streaks of blood red light rushed through it. It was like the domain of eternal night had converged into a single entity, like a giant had risen from its slumber. Andrea's group coordinated so closely that it was almost like they were an extension of this giant. Kaboom! Mech Arbiter, Cannons covered in fog struck the Mech Arbiter's sturdy barrier as blinding beams of light burst forth. Frentometer. Andrea, the enemy's attacks are getting duller and its barrier is growing darker. Cesare, looks like it worked. Andrea, the moment has finally come. Marco Polo! Sardinia Island defensive line. Marco Polo. I know. Commencing the final step of the plan now. Marco Polo, what? Andrea, it doesn't seem like anything happened. Did the ritual work? Marco Polo, God just told me to hang on a minute. Andrea, did I hear that right? God wants you to wait? Seems we have no other choice. I will use the final card in our hand. Marco Polo, what are you talking about? The cursed Sphinx barrier is completely attuned to your attacks. Andrea, I will destroy all our equipment, the core node, the laboratory, and everything else on the Sardinia Island. They contain a tremendous source of energy. Destroying them all at the same time will generate a massive shockwave. Marco Polo, what consequence will that have? Andrea, it won't be possible to rebuild the laboratory. No new metals will come to be if we destroy all the machinery. Marco Polo, no more metals? An acceptable price to pay? We don't need them. Can you ensure the safety of your comrades though? Andrea, no need to worry about that. Marco Polo, magnificent, do it then! In the endless white expanse, I witness all of the shipgirls' conversations and the changes in the battles through the eyes of the statue. We are speaking. An energy source that creates metas. Is she talking about a special wisdom cube? Origin cubes, to be specific? They are not seriously considering detonating them, are they? The image of a black tornado destroying everything in its path flashes in my mind. Hierophant, you have to stop them! Nobody will be able to withstand the damage if those cubes go off! In response to my plea, another door appeared not far from me. What does it mean? That the plan will work out just fine? What are you trying to tell me? I reached out to touch it and everything changed abruptly. Colite? I don't know. Well, Dr. Aoste, my experiment was a success. Dr. Aoste, you discovered a way to blow up energy cubes, you mean? I see Dr. Aoste and Colette conversing inside a strangely familiar laboratory. Colette. Hey, it's a serious research project. Don't paint me like some kid experimenting with firecrackers. My peers can be as biased against it as they want, but I still believe the explosive propulsion engine is a promising subject. It was widely believed that it was impossible for E-cubes to release an explosion of energy in a short time, despite the enormous amount of energy they contain. And yet, wisdom cubes, particularly ones that have undergone metamorphosis, are reliably able to cause a destructive shockwave in response to stimulus. And what's true for wisdom cubes is true for energy cubes as well. It's kinda loud for music, actually. If a wisdom cube can undergo metamorphosis, there is no reason why E-cubes shouldn't be able to in theory. Isn't it natural then to change our ways of thinking and try to work out how metamorphosis works for energy cubes? Dr. Oster, in theory, is not the same as in practice. Energy cubes are far more stable than wisdom cubes. How on earth did you make it turn meta? Colette, sorry. OXS trade secret. If you want to use our technique, we can discuss a business contract later. Dr. Ross, no. See what I'm concerned about? It's the safety. Colette, talk about being a worrywart. Do you remember that Wisdom Cube power output monitor and limiter you showed me before? My team used that as a template for our own version made for meta energy cubes. I have named it the M-type limiter, subject to change. A meta energy cube with the limiter installed exhibits completely different behaviors based on whether the desired output exceeds the value needed for an explosion or not. If it's below the value, the limiter ensures not a single iota of energy will be released, preventing the expression of its meta characteristics. Basically just a brick then. But if the value exceeds the detonation threshold, kaboom! The limiter is immediately disabled, and the violent energy surge is then released as a shockwave. Since this simultaneously destroys the cube's casing, there is also zero risk of a secondary hazard. Come to think of it, I haven't come up with a name for this unique E-cubes yet. Meta Energy Cubed, MEC for short. Actually, how about M-type Energy Cube, M-Tech? Their statue eyes stare back at me inside the endless white space. And we are speaking. An energy cube with meta properties? Not just that, a cube that can be detonated. That's what they are? Пока они бьются, я сам не до конца понимаю. Ну, то есть это кубы, которые используют сейчас вот эта группа мет из той лаборатории. То есть это мета-куб, который себя ведет очень стабильно и прочее, но имеет функцию детонации и очень сильной. То есть все черные кубы, я так понял, мета-кубы имеют такую силу. Amidst ceaseless explosions, the great beast of condensed red and black fog launched a relentless attack on the prey trapped with it. The mecha-arbiter the chariot. Andrea Doria. Marco Polo! Marco Polo. Once again, commencing the final quenching stage of the plan. Carducci, send out the following commands to every node. Immediately remove the banner of the Eternal Night and restart the Letters of God's Light. Carducci, as you command. Marco Polo. Raffaello, send the Mechanicus Harbingers to the front. Raffaello, oh yeah, let's wreck some stuff. Go and give them hell, my masterworks. Marco Polo. And Baraka, lead the Holy Sea Guard fleet in the battle. Baraka, I have been waiting for this. We are ready to go. Marco Polo, magnificent. And finally, oh God, give me your strength and bring to us your kingdom. Oh. Так, надо продолжить. Я думаю, сейчас паузу сделать или нет. Давайте я чуть-чуть небольшую паузу сделаю на пару минут. Пусть побудет вот этот экран с музычкой. А я сейчас... Так, ну что, продолжим. О. Thus, the red and black fog that embodied the eternal night vanished in an instant. The world lit up with the light of faith, and a sacred silence filled the air from horizon to horizon. In the midst of pure white, the chorus resounded. Marco Polo. I am Marco Polo, the apostle. I am the Marco Polo, the apostle. Скорее всего. O army of God, heed my command. It definitely not. Smite this evil with your bare blade. It's not. Я понял. I am Marco Polo, the apostle. Да. O army... Да, это оно просто продолжило, я понял. O army of God, окей. Kaboom. Rafaela, Marco Polo, I'm in position. Holy moly, the fighting here is so intense. This is the kingdom of God and that's the army of God. This is such a good inspo. I've gotta draw this right now. Mechanicus Harbingers, go first. Marco Polo, save your drawing for after we have won. Kaboom. Baraka, the Holy Sea Guard fleet has arrived. Carducci, reinforcement your gaze. Marco Polo, excellent timing. Are the nodes done being changed? Carducci, about half of all nodes suffer damage that cannot be repaired. Besides those, all others have been converted and connected to the lattice of God's light. Marco Polo, magnificent. I will give you a small boost before you go in. There, now go, crush them until there is nothing left. Kaboom. With the Marco Polo commanding from atop her throne, the fence struck like an unstoppable tsunami. The Mecha Arbiter's barrier was completely destroyed after a coordinated volley, so the shipgirls mercilessly bombarded its exposed armor with their cannons. Mecha Arbiters here. Marco Polo, phew, we have finally broken through that stupid sick barrier. Now, to pierce the armor, continue the attack, strip away everything it has. In the endless expanse of white, I watch as the barrier disintegrated through the statue's eyes. Hierophant is silent. A strange light flashes in the statue's eyes. Then, the next moment, it and I are both sucked into a vortex that appeared out of nowhere. Interesting. With God by my side. Seven left. Multiple question marks. When my vision returns to me, I find myself looking at a siren mainframe, we are speaking, beneath a false sky and a hollow sea, the city of steel towers silently. Hierophant is silent. The statue still won't say a word, but it does envelop me in pure white and carry me through the city. We pass a nameless street, cross through a plaza, and snake through an alleyway before finally arriving at the colossal tower in the center. Still encased in the whiteness, I am escorted up several stories of the structure. Then we stop inside a hall. There, a holograph of Mecha Arbiter, the Chariot 7, stands silently. At the same time, I realize that there is a panel hosting hundreds of buttons not far from the hologram. We are speaking. Oh my god, is that the panel for the security system that Chariot created? I approach to get closer look. The buttons are labeled 1 through 255, and the panel looks almost antiquated compared to its surroundings. It stands out. Yep, this is it. These 255 buttons must be the sub-options for the security system that Chariot said she installed. And beyond those, next to all these smaller buttons, in a clearly sectioned off area, there sits a single big red button. Looking closely, I can see small writing under it: Security System Emergency Shutdown button. Do not press outside of emergencies. Hierophant is silent. We are speaking. While they did manage to strip the Mecha Arbiters of its barrier, that alone won't be enough to defeat it. To do that, it has to be weakened sufficiently for you to interfere with it. Basically, if I understand correctly, you want me to push this button, right? Hierophant is silent. Despite not receiving an answer, I can intuit what the statue wants. Push the emergency shutdown button. The lights in the hall go out one by one, and the holograph of the Mecha Arbiters also gradually grows fainter before disappearing altogether. Phew, that should do it. Communicator beep beep. We are speaking. My communicator is ringing? The fuck? Despite me not pressing the answer button on it, my communicator keeps ringing for a while, then automatically connects. How? Why did you push that button? Unknown voice. What did you screw up this time, Hierophant? Hierophant is silent. Come back to that music, please! What the fuck was that? A dizzying wave of washes over me, painting everything a pure white color again. That was scary. Какой эпилог? That was... Okay, I will, with God by my side, I will return to that music once again. Oh. Unknown location, unknown time. In the endless expanse of white, the statue and I stare at one another. We are speaking. That color, it was Hierophant herself, wasn't it? В смысле? Hierophant is not responding. The statue is as silent as it has been the whole time, and yet it looks as though there is a little more life inside it. Right as this thought forms, the white space collapses in but the blink of an eye. Meanwhile, the Sardegnians were celebrating with vigor. We did it! Raffaella shouting. Marco Polo, we did it! We won! They stood in front of the wreckage of the Mecha Arbiter. Everyone was cheering, hooting, and hollering. Leonardo da Vinci, target has been completely destroyed. Mission complete. Baraka, I can't believe the barrier was that strong, but it was so squishy underneath. Hey, I guess it was a paper tiger after all. Carducci, it was a nerve-wracking, but we succeeded in the end. Alfreda, we actually won? I'm not dreaming here, am I? Carducci, you aren't. I'm hearing good news from all over the league. All other Sirens forces fell silent practically the moment that the Mecha Arbiter was defeated. Victory is undoubtedly ours. Andrea, the cage has been broken. We have finally done it. From now on, we can race across the sea, free and unrestrained. By the way, Marco Polo, what will you do with the Kingdom of God? Marco Polo, put your concerns to rest. Now that the threat has passed, it's obvious what I'm going to do with it. It's obvious what I'm going to do with it. The aftermath and change to come after this battle can be discussed once we have our celebration. Now that the string puller of the world's fate have been defeated, I'm sure just by talking it out, we can always reach an agreement that sits right with everyone. Marco Polo suddenly stopped mid-sentence and a puzzling light flashes in her eyes. Carducci, your grace? Marco Polo, sorry, the plan has changed. God is calling for me. It's up to you to discuss the celebratory banquet among yourselves. Marco Polo, what? Are you serious? She's crying. You'll always be our one and only apostle, your grace, forever. I will create a masterpiece for us all to remember you by. Marco Polo, enough with this histrionics. What this fucking word means? History or
Histrionics.
histrionics. Enough is histrionics. Sure, I said that I'm going to perish, but that is not the case. Raphael, you didn't mean you're giving up the ghost? Marco Polo, obviously not. Cast your mind back to my anointment ceremony. You do remember that I said I'm not from this world, yes? I'm simply going back whence I came. Raphael, oh, so you weren't joking about that. Of course I wasn't. There, I clarified. Now stop making that face at me. It's not like I'm never coming back. Marco Polo, you better paint that masterpiece for me. I want to see it one day. Raphael, yeah, I promise I will. Andre, I never expected that our farewell would come this abruptly. You came to us so suddenly and now you leave equally suddenly. Like a gust of wind. Marco Polo, sorry, that's just how I operate. Now, then I entrust the aftermath to you. And don't worry, it's in safe hands. We will work with the Ecclesia and restore orders to the Sardinia League. And then we will move toward a free and beautiful future together. Marco Polo, I look forward to seeing that. Now it's time for me to leave. With a slightly pained look in her eyes, Marco Polo bid farewell to her friends. Marco Polo, until we meet again. Marco Polo closed her eyes and silently lay down in the water. A fading light illuminated her face, calm and serene, like she was dreaming a wonderful dream. From up on high, she silently gazed down on herself, sleeping soundly and surrounded by everyone she knew. A smile formed on her lips, then she finally turned around and left. Although Marco Polo the ship girl may have left the Sardinia League, Marco Polo the apostle will forever be with them. Paradiso of Shackled Light, the end. Continuation. Inside North Atlantic Ocean's Central Singularity, Tribunal Special Fleet, cabin below deck. The next thing I knew, I would return to the very moment when I was going to open the door to Marco Polo's cabin. We are speaking. Am I back? What time is... The second hand on my pocket watch has only advanced a handful of ticks. Just a short distance away, Miss Het Marco Polo is still in a deep sleep. Still sleeping, huh? Safe to assume the bond between her and Hierophant grew deeper after all of this. Only time will tell whether that's for better or for worse. Communicator BB. Kasumi Meta. Commander, have you finished logging that entry? We are speaking. Yeah, I'm done. Miss Het is still asleep. I will hand her over to you. Kasumi Meta. Roger, we'll go there now. We are speaking. Oh, could you pass on a word to Helena for me? Tell her to call me as soon as this business is done with, and that I have something important to discuss with her. Kasumi will do, Vestal Meta. There is no knowing what may happen inside the Singularity, Commander. Please return as quickly as possible. Unknown location, unknown time. An endless stretch of pure white, a space where time and space were meaningless. It was through here that Marco Polo wandered. Marco Polo, this is horrible. Wherever I look, it's all the same. How am I supposed to find my way home? I'm exhausted, I miss my Apostle's throne. She muttered to herself, then sat down on a throne. Marco Polo, I don't know how to express it. Question mark with exclamation mark. You know, I think I'd like a more lavish throne. She muttered again, and this time sat down on a throne more lavish than the last. Marco Polo, what in the world? Raffaello, wow, that's a real lavish throne you got, Marco. Marco, Raffaello, what are you doing here? Raffaello, I had too much to drink at the banquet, so I just... What is this place anyway? Marco Polo, an excellent question. I haven't the faintest clue. Iris Orthodoxy, capital, commander's office, several days later. Several days have passed since the incident and my life is fully back to the usual. I told Helena about my run-in with Hierophant and said I wanted to run some tests, but she didn't get back to me about that. As for our plans to deal with what sirens linger in the world, each of them is progressing steadily. The one closest to completion is our plan to clean up the NA Ocean. It's comparatively easy work since it's the area where Compiler fell. It will be led jointly by the Royal Navy, Iris Orthodoxy, Iron Blood and Northern Parliament. Knock knock. Memphis. Commander Bismarck has extended an invitation to you. She wants you to attend a diplomatic dinner tomorrow. We are speaking an invitation from Bismarck? Those don't come every day. Hang on a second. I accept the invitation, an emblem on the front consisting of windmills and tulips catches my attention. The Kingdom of Tulipa. I see, that's why Bismarck is taking the initiative. What are we going to discuss? That lower countries treaty that they are drafting in Europa? Or maybe it will be about Tulipan ship girls. Either way, color me intrigued. Tell her that I will absolutely be there. In fact, I want you to come with me. Memphis, really? Sure. We're speaking. There may be a lot of work we'll have to discuss. Memphis, oh, naturally. Trouble on the horizon. In an endless sea of stars, a long-lasting pursuit was finally about to reach its end? No way. Kaboom! Thief! Give me back my whale! Shackled Meta. A stubborn pest this one. Regardless, her end is near. Queen Elizabeth Meta. Keep it up, she's at her limit, so hit her harder. Kaboom! Devil. You don't give up, huh? Well, I got some good data, so if you want it so badly, fine. Just know that I'm letting you have this. You didn't beat me. I'll be back for round 2. Kaboom. Devil's vessel was blown to bits in a plume of fire. Just like that, the battle was over at last. Miss D. Well, my whale is finally back. Thanks for the help, Shackled. If you hadn't come, who knows how much longer we would have to chase her around. Shackled Meta, my arrival was but a coincidence and I thought I should assist. You need no sing my praises. it should be Her Majesty, determination and tenacity that you sang for this victory. Miss D, good point, thanks Elizabeth. Queen Elizabeth meta. Save your thanks for later. Now that your whale is back, do you sense anything different? Miss D, maybe. Gah. Queen Elizabeth, what is it? Miss D, I forgot. I can't remember how I'm supposed to use the whale. Miss D, блять. I can't remember how I'm supposed to use the whale. Queen Elizabeth, you bloody what? Miss D, do you know how to use it? Queen Elizabeth, well, we have at least secured the whale now. Sooner or later, its method of usage becomes clear. Since most of test site beta's new coordinates have been calculated, a more detailed inspection will have to wait until we get back home. Oh, Miss D. Oh, fine. Wait, how do we bring the whale back? Queen Elizabeth. By packing it up? Worry not, the Queen's light will have no trouble fitting a single whale. Shuffle meta. Your Majesty, something doesn't feel quite right. Queen Elizabeth. Yes, you're right, something tiresome is coming our way. Blast it, we should have recovered the train cars before departure. Miss D. What's wrong, Elizabeth? Queen Elizabeth. Trouble is coming, that's what. Once you and Sheffield have retrieved the whale, stay inside the train. We shall deal with this trouble ourselves. Вообще, чья это музыка? А, так, эта музыка была этой... Магички? Наверное. The blinding light fades, and I find myself inside a well-lit classroom. We are speaking. This place again? Did Madame M summon me again? Of course this happens right when Helena is looking for me all over out there. I look out the window, the weather is as calm as can be, with a gentle breeze blowing and sunshine pouring in. Inside the classroom, however... Where is Madame M? And why the heck did she bring me here? I take a walk around the classroom, I move some chairs and desks, and knock on the podium, but still Madame M is nowhere to be seen. Weird. Gathering my courage, I grip the door to slide it aside and take a look outside. But right then, knock knock. Hello? I was told my classes will be held here today. Question mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. The person who knocked is someone I have seen before. Tell me who, because I don't know her. I don't know her. Блять. Bon Homer Richard movie ad. Hey everyone, it's me, Bon Homer Richard. The final countdown in the theaters now. I had a lot of fun in the starring role. Be sure to check it out. Deep voice narrator. Welcome to the paradox of time, where past and present become one and history is actually changed. The final countdown now in the theaters near you. Buy a ticket today and you have the chance to win the 3-day guided tour of White Opana. I was about to say white screen. Repulse meta. That voice, that tornado, is it Bon Homer Richard? Renowned meta. There is no mistaking it, but how did she get here? Queen Elizabeth. Bon Homer Richard, who is she? Queen Elizabeth, not meta, the original one. Ours, Queen Elizabeth. Renowned meta. She is a ship girl from our branch, and the only person in existence that's the head of Antiochus. She's a ship girl from our branch, and the only person in existence that the head of Antiochus Zero cannot write into her mainframe. Even with the endless information from the past Zero has access to, She cannot reconstruct Richard. Moreover, Richard has never been seen in any other branch as far as we know. This is the first time we have laid eyes on her since her namesake incident. Is she after you? Why? You! We are speaking. You! Who are you is not the right response. Bonhomme Richard? Miss Richard. How it's... let's be a little bit polite. Miss Richard? I don't know how it will be. All of a sudden everything rapidly breaks down before my eyes. Right before I completely black out, it looks as though there is a momentary hint of confusion in Bonhomme Richard's eyes. The night is silent, I am in bed, the ceiling greets me. What was that? Was it just a dream? And this is the end. And this is the end. Yep. And with that I can end this stream. It took me to, yeah, it will be just 4 hours. It would take me if I did it in one sit, in one go. So yeah, 4 hours. Well, it's usually 3 hours if I'm reading to myself, and 1 hour more if I read it out loud. Well, that's it.